We have a question from a spiritual seeker. I'm 46 and live in the Netherlands. For the past 12 years, I have been active as a Paralympic athlete. I've participated in 3 Paralympic Games and achieved success in all of them. Even though I've considered myself a spiritual person for the past 25 years, always searching for a deeper meaning of who I truly am. During those 12 years, I also played with full dedication the game of the ego. Perhaps it's comparable to your time in the business world. Now I've reached a point where I'm becoming too old to continue competing in sports. But the sense of purpose or meaning in it has already been slipping away from me for the past 4 or 5 years. So I find myself at crossroads in my life. I took up Paralympic sport because I have a progressive eye condition called RP. The prognosis is that I will go blind, and in the past year, I've also been struggling with increasing tinnitus. Practically speaking, I don't know what kind of work I can or want to do anymore. My eyesight keeps getting worse, and the ringing in my ear is getting louder. I read somewhere that you once isolated yourself for 4 years, and that sometimes you would scream into your pillow, thinking you were going crazy. I often feel the same way, this sense of hopelessness and the fear that I'm losing my mind. But of course, with all the pressure that's building up in every aspect of life, there are also enormous cracks appearing. I can walk in the forest and the silence can be so utterly complete. I see my body walking there with all its limitations. And midst all the restlessness, there is so much peace. The part that observes remains untouched at all times. There are more and more of these kinds of gaps in the story. And it seems that the more pressure there is, the more cracks and spaciousness appear in return. I'm writing you with the following question. There's a very persistent concept in my mind, almost 24 hours a day. The concept of the enlightened master, as if I'm constantly on standby, waiting for this to happen to me and wondering when it will happen, as if that would finally be the escape from all of this. I can tackle it intellectually. I know it's a concept created by my own ego. I see the story repeating itself over and over again. It's exhausting. With everything I see, think, or feel, there's always this sense of waiting for that moment when all nonsense will finally fall away. There's something in me that constantly wants to escape the present, always projecting a moment in the future when everything will be better. It's a stubborn structure that deeply affects my state of mind throughout the days, as if I still need to arrive, but I am not there yet. If you have the time and space, could you share something with me about this? So, from what I see, is that you practically have answered your own question where you can see that your wait for the enlightened master, waiting for the nonsense to fall away, a concept created by your own ego, as you say here, is happening. You see, the final understanding is not that the nonsense will fall away. The nonsense will never fall apart. The nonsense will always be there, but it will make perfect sense. So, the recognition, the discovery of sense in the nonsense is enlightenment. The discovery of order within the chaos is the true understanding. Till the mind is occupied with this idea of somehow becoming better or achieving a perfect state of stillness where there will be no discomfort, no turbulent emotions, then again we are projecting a fantasy in future. And you've already mentioned that in your email. So all you can do is investigate where this stubbornness comes from and what is the nature of this structure that says that I need to arrive. You see, who needs to arrive where, and what is that entity going to get that it has not experienced before? If you talk about silence, as you've already mentioned, that you have experienced it before while walking, in the forest. So you've already seen that. And of course, you also mentioned that more spaciousness appears to you as this crack widens more and more, as the pressure is more and more. Now, usually the thing is that mind, when it sees into its own illusion, gets so fascinated by that bliss. It wants that bliss to become a permanent state. So it says that I want enlightenment as a permanent state of bliss. But you see, that again is a trap of the mind, because there is no permanency in thought. There is no security in thought. So any thought that says, I need to do something to arrive, I need to do something to become, it is just planning to get more and more entangled into its own structure. All that needs to be done is to look at this whole movement, not trying to be something other than what I am right now in this very moment. And that is freedom. And yes, from your story, I've seen that it was the same with me when I was in that world, corporate world, and trying my best, and was trying to do everything in my capacity to make big money, find good relationship, and just trying to get the best that I could perceive of. But my perception at that time was very limited. So you see, as this crack widens, there is a change in the perception. The needing, wanting, desiring begins to dissipate. It begins to dissolve. And that is what Jiddu Krishnamurti calls true freedom. So I think um, I have a couple of words from the book Freedom from the Known, where Jiddu Krishnamurti says, freedom can only come about naturally, not through wishing, wanting, longing. Nor will you find it by creating an image of what you think it is. To come upon it, the mind has to learn to look at life, which is a vast movement, without the bondage of time. For freedom lies beyond the field of consciousness. The field of consciousness that Jiddu Krishnamurti here is talking about is the identified aspect of consciousness, which is all thought and time bound. So, even in this case, as you say, I still need to arrive, which implies you're relying on time. It implies that you have created a measure that somehow, right now, what I am is not complete. And once I arrive at an image that I only have created, and I'm projecting it into a future as a perfect image, then I will be whole, complete, and then I will be free. But the thing is, you're free right now. And this is not a matter of time. If you can see that to be truly content and happy in life, whatever is here and now is sufficient. Because this is not a process of acquiring or coming to an understanding through intellectual knowledge. While intellectual knowledge helps and brings a lot of peace and calm and a lot of order to life, it is ultimately the understanding of the heart. And the heart does not operate in the domain of time, you see. Heart is the spaciousness, the total silence that you have already experienced. So you're already here. There is nothing you can do to be here when you're already here. So I would say, make the best of what you can out of this life. Your conviction, your dedication to sports, despite your conditioning, shows your passion. And generally, people who have this much strength do find something or the other, and they don't let the physical limitations stop them from enjoying life. So once this whole conflict for you disappears, that you need to be something other than what you are right now, then all that there is left is your working mind, which I'm sure can come up with other things and make the most out of what is left, the time that universe has allocated for you. And I'm sure you're going to come up with something beautiful. You can share your story with people. You can help people who are suffering with the same conditioning as you had. There is so much that can be done. And it doesn't require you to be perfect or whole or complete. Your nature is completeness. That sense of freedom is not an acquisition. It is not arrived at through thinking. It is simply here and now. You already are complete. So I would say, rather than relying on time and waiting for the nonsense to fall away. Let the nonsense happen the way it is happening, and you will find perfect order, perfect sense in everything. Because to say that something does not make sense, of course, it does not make sense to our limited mind because our minds are limited. But from the universe's perspective, everything makes perfect sense. We may feel things are random, but from the universe's perspective, there is perfect order, a natural order, even to that randomness. So, with our limited mind, sometimes, we bring in the same energy that we had in the material world into the spiritual world, thinking that effort is going to lead us to a greater state of consciousness. But you see, consciousness does not have hierarchies. Consciousness is one undivided whole. And that recognition itself frees one. Because when there is only one whole, indivisive reality, then who is to attain what? Who is there to strive for what? So, this whole idea of trying to become or be a certain way begins to dissolve. So, even Nisargadatta Maharaj said, and I've seen from your email that Nisargadatta Maharaj has been your guru for so many years now. And he says in his book, I Am that don't try to be this or that, just be. And that being is sufficient, it is complete. It is the thought which is incomplete. Thought will say, I am not enough. I need to be a certain way. I'm waiting for the perfect master to show me, to guide me. The perfect master, the enlightened master, is within oneself. It's the heart. And the heart shows the way. There is no wrong way with the heart. The right and wrong is only the mind's way. The heart's way is always the right way. So I hope my reflection on your story is helpful to you.